Hello, I see there's one person on. Who do we have here with us? Please just leave in the comment section. Let us know who is here. If you're just joining us, please let us know who you are so we can acknowledge your presence. Thank you for taking time off your busy schedules. It's a Sunday afternoon, it's family time. I really appreciate the fact that you decided to join us during this afternoon session so we can talk about our April spring cleanse coming up from tomorrow. I'm going to give a couple minutes so we can get more people to join us before we start. If you're just joining us, please let us know who is there. Alrighty, it's 1:34. We're supposed to start 4 minutes ago. I would like to give a brief rundown of how this live session is going to run. We're going to talk briefly about primary food sources. Remember, in my last video, we talked about secondary food sources and why it is important to be able to have a balance between the primary and the secondary food sources. And we're going to talk about what a juice cleanse is. I got a couple of people who are only doing this juice cleanse for the first time, and so I'll do a recap of what a juice cleanse is. the do's and the don'ts, what we need to consider when we're doing the juice cleanse, and how to ease back into regular meals after doing a juice cleanse. And then at the end of it, we're going to have a question and answer session. So to start off, I really want to give a word of gratitude to all my subscribers. Last week, we hit a major milestone. We hit 1,000 subscribers, and we are way above that at this point in time. And I want to really appreciate what you guys are doing, because it is in sharing the videos to your friends and family members that we are growing the community. And like I've always said, success is not measured in these numbers. It is measured in the amount of impact that we are creating, how many lives we are changing because of what we are doing. So thank you very much, and I hope we are going to continue to grow this community and continue to create an impact. So like I said, we're going to briefly run through primary food sources. What are primary food sources? When we eat food, it fills us emotionally, psychologically, physically, mentally, and spiritually. So when we eat food, that is what we want to get nourishment out of it. And what kind of nourishment are we getting out of the food we are eating? And that is why we say you are not what you eat, you are what you digest and assimilate. So when you just eat food and it is not balanced with the primary food sources, you don't get the desired nourishment from the food you're eating. So that is why the primary food sources are also very, very important. And what are these primary food sources? First of all, we have relationships, we have career, we have spirituality, and we have physical activity. So we are going to go through these different sources of primary foods. And like I have always said, it's very important because they complement the secondary food sources, so you can have the maximum nourishment out of the food you're eating. Let's start with relationship. What is relationship? Relationship is how you relate with people. It can be family, it can be friends. And it is very important for this relationship to be balanced, to be nourishing, to be sustaining. A relationship that adds value to your life. If you're in a relationship that is not adding value to your life, it's a stressful relationship. And when you are in a stressful relationship, it affects the amount of nourishment you get from the food you eat. No matter how nourishing your food source is, if you are stressed out in a relationship, you're not going to get the desired nourishment out of the food you're eating. So it's important to have relationships that are very sustainable. We have grown up in a society where people just hang on to relationships for the sake of it. You are not in that relationship because you want to gain something, you want to gain something out of the relationship. You want to give something into the relationship in order to get something out of it. Most of the times people get into relationships thinking primarily of what they can get out of the relationship. And that speaks to a lot of selfishness, and because of that, relationships do not last. So make sure, if you are in a relationship, whether it's a familiar relationship, it's a relationship with friends, make sure that relationship is very, very nourishing, is very sustaining. And relationships that are very sustaining have been known to help towards, to contribute towards longevity. So make sure the relationships that you're engaging in are very, very sustaining. And also, if you're in a relationship, make sure that everything that is said in the relationship, you take it with a grain of salt, because people have a lot that is going on. If somebody says something, that does not necessarily mean that they're saying it from a place of hurt, or they mean to hurt you. Sometimes people just have a lot going on, and because of that, they do not reconsider things before saying them out, and so they may say things that are not very pleasing to you. So always try to take it with a grain of salt, and also think about what you bring into the relationship. If there is a misunderstanding, you should be able to do that introspection and find out what you have done to contribute towards the ongoing dispute. And when you do that introspection, it helps to build compassion and to build your relationship. The next thing is career. What is your relationship with your career? What is your relationship with the job you're doing? Is it just to make money and put food on the table, or you are really invested in your career, you love your job, you love creating an impact, you love making a difference, that the amount of money you're getting out of it is not really a determining factor? This is very important because research has shown that people have more heart attacks on Monday mornings because they are not happy with the jobs they are doing. So because of that, they are so stressed out that they have a cardiac arrest. So it's very important to have a very cordial relationship with the job you are doing. And it's not possible to have this kind of relationship all the time. But what I always say is, if you do not like your job, look for something in that job that you like and build on that. And over time, you're going to realize that you actually love the job you are doing. For instance, you all know that I am a special needs teacher. It is a high stress environment, no doubt. And I'm going to use this opportunity to give a shout out to all my students. Yesterday was Autism Awareness Day, and I want to thank all my students, who most of them are on the spectrum. And I want to say, if I am where I am today, it's thanks to these students, because they have played a vital role in leading me down the path of a meaningful and purposeful life. Shout out to all of you. I love you all, and I can't wait to see you again tomorrow. So my job is a high stress environment, but every day I don't go to that job having that at the back of my mind. I go to my job every day looking out for things that will make me smile. And of course, there is always something to make you smile in that environment. And with that, it builds a sense of gratitude, and it also makes you to start seeing things that you can like about your career. Once you like your career, it brings down the stress that you can have because you do not like your career. And then you have nourishment. Just gratitude is enough to activate your parasympathetic nervous system, which keeps you in that restful state, and it takes you further into creativity because you are in that state of rest. The next thing we are going to talk about is, under primary food sources, is spirituality. And spirituality is different from religiosity. With spirituality, is, you can say, it's a form of a practice or a mentality that you have, and this connects you to other people, a community, and it connects you to a higher being. And this is very key because there's a difference between religiosity and spirituality. Like I have said, if your primary goal is not that, to develop that connection with a higher being, you'll be missing the point of having a spiritual practice or a religious practice. So that should be your primordial goal, what your relationship with the community and with that higher being is. And if on a daily basis you try to build on those, it automatically makes you a better version of yourself on a daily basis. I have a spiritual practice that I do on a daily basis. I meditate on a daily basis, and that has helped me a lot to guide me, to give me a more purposeful and a more meaningful life. So try to have a spiritual practice or a religious practice, and make sure that that spiritual practice connects you to that higher being. So, and there are a lot of other advantages that come with having a daily spiritual or religious practice. First of all, it just calms you down and puts you in a state of rest. And it reduces, in that process, it reduces the amount of stress that you have, because it automatically summons the parasympathetic nervous system and keeps you in a very calm state. So that reduces your stress level. And when you're not stressed, when you eat, of course, you're going to have the maximum nourishment out of the food you eat, because you are not stressed out. You are in that rest, repair, and digest state. It also reduces anxiety. One of the best ways to reduce anxiety, we are in a very fast-paced world, and it is very difficult to avoid being anxious over what is going to happen in the next second. And if you are someone who watches the news all the time, they always have something to give you to make you feel anxious. So having a spiritual or a religious practice helps you to reduce that anxiety, and it also leads to a lot of creativity, because you are in that rest and repair state. It's very easy for you to get into the state of creativity, and it also improves your mood. You come out of a religious or a spiritual practice feeling very fulfilled and ready to serve. And the bottom line is, once you are in that rest and repair state, you can actually have a lot of nourishment from the food you're eating. Finally, we have physical activity. And this is a very challenging one, because like I say, the world we live in right now doesn't give people the opportunity to be able to exercise. People have to make that conscious decision to understand why physical activity is important to them, and then make that conscious decision to incorporate physical activity into their daily activities. It is not only for weight loss. There are a lot of other benefits that can come with having physical activity or exercise on a daily basis. For me, it's very clear. I have a very structured physical activity routine that I have built over time, and it works for me because it takes off the decision fatigue. When I get up in the morning, I'm not contemplating about what to do. I already have it structured out, and imagine all that energy that I am not wasting on trying to come to a decision on what to do. All that energy is now directed towards other things, and that can actually boost your rate of creativity. So what are the other things that we can gain out of a physical activity? First of all, we have endorphins that are being released into your system after a good exercise session or physical activity. And this is the feel-good hormone, which is very important for an energy boost. So once you have these endorphins being released, it helps boost your energy, and you find that your energy level is very high during the day, and that means that you can accomplish a lot more because you have a lot of energy. Secondly, it reduces the risk of heart disease. Once you're exercising, you're giving your heart an opportunity to work harder, and as it works harder, it strengthens the walls of the heart, and it actually prevents you from the risk of having heart disease. It also lowers the blood cholesterol levels, which that also contributes towards cardiovascular disease. So once those blood cholesterol levels are in optimal levels, that prevents cardiovascular diseases. It also prevents type 2 diabetes. So if you're predisposed to having type 2 diabetes and you take on an exercise routine, that helps you to stay back or to curb the risk of having type 2 diabetes, because all the sugar that is in your bloodstream is being taken up by your muscles as you work out, and so that reduces the amount of insulin that is released into your system, and that helps to curb the rate of type 2 diabetes. It also helps to build strong bones, muscles, and joints. Remember that most people, when they age, what actually takes them faster to their grave is not because of aging. Most of them fall, and because their bones are not very strong, they can break a hip bone, and that keeps them in a nursing home, and then they just start deteriorating and then have an early end to their lives. So once you take on an exercise routine, that helps you to build strong bones, and that prevents osteoporosis in the long run. So how can you incorporate physical activity into your daily life? First of all, you have to be intentional about why you want physical activity into your life. For these reasons that I've given, I think they are good enough for you to make a decision to incorporate physical activity into your life. So pick something that you like. Start small. It can be just a 10-minute walk around the block each day. Now it's getting warmer and we're having longer days. So when you come back and you're done at home with the kids and dinner and all of that, take a 10-minute walk around the block and come back. And as you get more, sorry, as you get more comfortable with that, you can keep increasing the time that you take on physical activity. And it's very self-motivating, because once you do it and you start seeing the benefits of having the physical activity, then it becomes intrinsic. You now start adding onto what you're already doing, and before you know it, it already becomes a part of your routine. So that is that about primary food sources. It's important to know that these primary food sources have to balance out with the secondary food sources in order for you to have the most nourishment out of the food you're eating, and to have a rewarding life. So the next thing we're going to look at today is a juice cleanse. So like I said, we're going to start the spring juice cleanse tomorrow, and I would like everyone, if you are to let me know what your thoughts are. Would you prefer that we start tomorrow, because I'm going to put out the grocery list today? Let me know in the chats if you think that we should start tomorrow or we should start on Tuesday. Let me know. The second thing that I would like us to talk about today is how long we want this to go. And please, I've always said, before you want to undertake a juice cleanse, make sure you have a conversation with your physician, so that your physician can give you the go-ahead to undertake this juice cleanse. So make sure that is cleared before you engage in this. So let me know whether you want us to start tomorrow or to start on Tuesday. I'm going to put out the grocery list so you can have time to pick up what we will be needing for the juice cleanse. So what is a juice detox? A juice detox is using fruits and vegetables in the form of juices to give your digestive system a break and to detoxify your system. We are exposed to toxins on a daily basis. The air that we breathe, the products that we use on our bodies, the food that we eat. So all of these gives toxins into our system, and our systems naturally can heal themselves if given half the chance. But most of the time, we do not give our system the chance to heal itself. So once you are taking on a juice cleanse, that is an opportunity for your system to heal itself. And as it heals itself, then we can revamp it and then feel good. Why not? All right. So there are two types of juice detoxes. We have the fast and we have the feast. And because we have done this for the past 3 months, this is the 4th month, I would like us to give ourselves a little push to try to do the fast juice detox, where you have only juices, and we'll not say only juices for the whole day, because that can be very hard for some people. But we skip breakfast, have the juice at lunch, and then have a regular dinner. But we have this dinner early enough, like before 6 p.m., so that we are going to get into at least a 16-hour fast, and that gives our system enough time to rejuvenate. So let me know in the chat box what you will be doing, and we can consider that. So with a feast, you have juices, but you also can have fruits and some salad with the juices. It's not strictly juices, but with the fast, you have strictly the juice without anything else, and then you can have a regular dinner. So think about what you would like to have and let us know in the chat what works for you. So what are the benefits of having a juice cleanse? Why should we do a juice detox? I've already said that we want to give our bodies time to rejuvenate itself, because our bodies have the capacity to rejuvenate themselves. So once you give your system a break from digesting regular food, you are giving your system the opportunity to take a break and then heal itself. Another thing is it's a healthy way to jumpstart a healthy lifestyle. When you incorporate fruits and vegetables in the form of juices, you are just adding on to the amount of fruits and vegetables you can have, which is a very, very good thing. We are encouraged to have fruits and vegetables, and it's very hard for some people to take this on because we have ultra processed foods that are very, very abundant and available and easy to make. And because we're in a fast paced world, people have the tendency to resort towards having these ultra processed foods. So once you take on a juice detox, it gives you the opportunity to take in more fruits and vegetables in the form of juices. So it's a way of actually jump starting a healthy lifestyle. Secondly, there is an energy boost. You realize that there is a boost in your energy. And why is this so? Think about eating solid food. When you eat solid food, your system now diverts all its energy towards digesting that food. And so there's not a lot that is left with you. Hi, Auntie Hilda. Thank you very much for joining Aging Happily with Hilda. Thank you for joining us. I appreciate the fact that you've taken time off your busy schedule to join us. Thank you for joining us. So we're just talking right now about the advantages of having a juice detox, and we're at the level of getting an energy boost. So naturally you have an energy boost because when you take fruits and vegetables in the form of juices, they are easily assimilated into your system. And so your digestive system does not require a lot of energy to digest this food. So that redirects all the energy into other things, and you realize that you feel more energetic during the day and you can accomplish more. And at the end of the day, that gives you a sense of purpose, like you feel very accomplished and happy to have taken on the day and to have taken on all the challenges that you've had during the day. Also, your taste buds experienced a reboot, because when you keep eating and eating and eating, you become familiar with some things. Have you realized that you eat something the previous day and the next day you start craving that thing? It's because there's still some residue on your taste buds. But now, when you do not eat these things, your taste buds kind of forget about it, and then they now start developing a positive relationship with the fruits and the vegetables you're eating. And now they start craving that instead of the junk food that you would have eaten otherwise. So it helps to reboot your taste buds. It also helps to develop self-discipline, and that is one of the major fallouts of having a juice cleanse. Okay, for the past 2 months or 3 months actually that we've been doing the juice cleanse, I am an avid coffee drinker. Like I have like 2 cups of coffee, not too bad. I have 2 cups of coffee a day. And since we started doing the juice cleanse, during the length of the cleansing, I give up coffee and resort to having green tea. And that has gradually spilled over into the rest of the month, where I do not have coffee on a daily basis. I alternate between coffee and matcha green tea, and that has really helped to reduce my coffee intake. And it's not easy for anyone who drinks coffee on a daily basis to cut out coffee because of what you get out of the coffee, that energy boost. So that is also one thing that helps us in a juice cleanse process. It helps us to develop self-discipline. Another thing is when we are fasting during the juice cleanse, that's also self-discipline, because you're depriving yourself of things that you would have normally loved to eat. So because you are doing that deprivation, and your body is going to push back, and your body is going to request those things that they have always been used to. So just holding back on not eating those things is an aspect of developing self-discipline. And once you develop that self-discipline, this makes it really, really awesome. And this self-discipline helps to boost your morale. And it helps you to make good choices in general, just helping you to make good choices. Okay, so those are some of the advantages that push us towards taking a juice detox. So because of all this, that is why at the beginning of each month we decide to take a juice detox program in order to give our systems a chance to reboot. Yes, aging happily with Hilda. Yes, self-discipline plays a lot. Yes, I would agree with that totally. Self-discipline plays a lot because it helps you to build character once you engage in these processes of self-deprivation. Okay, so if we do not have any questions, I'm looking at the chat on my laptop that is on the side here, and I don't think we have any questions, so I'll just move on to the third part. And before I move on to the third part, I want to give a big shout out to Marsha Designs. She designed this beautiful dress I'm wearing, and if you are looking for someone, Calgary and environs, to do you a beautiful Ankara dress, please look no further, go to Marsha Designs. Okay, the third part of this live show today is about the do's and the don'ts. And like I said, this is just to revamp what we have been talking on over time and to get people to just revisit what I think they already know, because they have been carrying out these juice cleanse programs for the past months. So the first don't is to limit alcohol intake. We know that the liver and the kidney are very good at detoxifying. That's their job. Their job is to detoxify the system. But when we give it too much work, we are actually giving it a lot of pressure. Aging happily with Hilda says, is self-deprivation encouraged? What about withdrawing from some of these things like coffee slowly? Yeah, that's exactly what I said. And aging happily with Hilda, you are depriving yourself. Even if you are withdrawing from it slowly, it's still deprivation. It's not like you want to avoid it in like completely. That is very, very challenging, and most of the times it's unsustainable. You fall back because your system too pushes back. So that's why we aim for gradual withdrawal from them. And for me, I gave the example of having coffee, and instead of just stopping coffee completely, I now alternate it with green tea. And because of that, instead of having coffee 5 days a week, I now have it only 3 days a week. And as I get comfortable with that process, I will now be reducing the number of days I'm having coffee and gradually ease out from drinking coffee into drinking green tea. So it's not advisable, like you say, I agree with you totally, to just stop these things completely. It's very unsustainable. Thank you for bringing that up. So the first thing is alcohol, and I was talking about the liver and the kidneys, which are our detoxifying organs, and naturally they detoxify the system. But when we overburden them with all these external things, it's very it doesn't help our system, and they get fatigued with doing all of this. And that is why we are hearing so much about fatty liver disease that is coming on now, because a lot of the fats that the fats that we eat from the highly processed foods that we eat is finally stored in the liver, and now we are having a lot of cases of fatty liver disease. So limit alcohol, and we are talking about a non-alcoholic fatty liver disease that is coming up, and it's even prevalent in kids. So this is one of the reasons why this is happening, is because there is a lot of ultra processed foods that people are consuming instead of consuming whole foods that are the ultra processed foods like trump the whole foods now. Okay, so Instead of having a lot of alcohol, we can now replace that with water. So we give our detoxifying organs a break from from alcohol. Another thing that we need to consider is having very good restorative sleep. The experts say it's important to have 7 to 9 hours of restorative sleep, and a lot of people find it very difficult to have those number of hours of sleep. And even most people go to bed and they do not fall asleep. They keep tossing and turning on their beds, and they are unable to have that restorative sleep. And once you do not have that restorative sleep, your next day is messed up, because your brain has not rested enough to recharge. And some of the things that we can do is, of course, we are having our juice detox, and we're saying that have an early dinner. So if you have dinner like 6 or 7 p.m., that is very good, because it gives your system enough time to digest what you've eaten before you go to bed at about 9, 10, or 11. And once you go to bed with an empty tummy, there's a high probability that you can have a lot of a better and more restorative sleep. Also, you need to, and why is sleep very important? Because that is the time when, I'll put it like, that is when the construction crew comes in at night, or the cleaning crew, they come in at night when you are sleeping to do their job. So when you have restorative sleep, there is detoxifying that is naturally occurring in your system. But if you do not sleep well, that is a problem, because the cleaning crew cannot do their job once you are not having that restorative sleep. Another thing you can do to have restorative sleep is to turn off all electronics and do not have any contact with electronics, because the blue light affects melatonin levels, which helps you to fall asleep and stay asleep. So if you do not have that interaction with blue light, then that helps your sleep. Also, make sure your room is cool, because normally your internal body temperature drops by about 1 to 2 degrees to allow you to have good sleep. So when you have cooler temperatures in your bedroom, it also helps you to fall asleep and to stay asleep. Also, shut out light. Like, make sure that your room is very dark, and there are ways you can do that. Have dark blinds that block out all the light, and this is because your system has to be in sync with the circadian rhythm. Once your body is in sync with the circadian rhythm, it naturally aligns with that sleep-wake cycle. And so when it's dark, your body already knows that it's time for me to go asleep. So that facilitates you falling asleep and staying asleep. So that's one of the do's that we need to consider. Make sure we are having very, very restorative sleep. And if you try to implement some of these strategies, it should help you to have restorative sleep, especially when you are struggling with sleep. Thank you very much, Aging with Hilda. Thanks for your compliments. Yeah, so we've talked about limiting alcohol intake, and then trying to have very restorative sleep. The next thing is to avoid ultra processed foods and sugars. Cut out all the candy, cut out all the canned drinks. Anything that is packaged, has a barcode, it's in a can, know that it's not good for you. Anything that doesn't look as close to its natural form as possible is not good for you. It has to look, you have to look at something and say, oh, this is peanut. It looks like peanut. If it doesn't look like what it is in its natural form, then that is a telltale. That is a reason for you to cut it out. So cut out all these processed foods, because this is what has been contributing to what we now know as the diabetes crisis. You have more people having diabetes and more people who are obese, because they eat all of these processed foods. And first of all, our system has not evolved to be able to manage, to be able to digest or process these UPFs. So our system is like surprised. They don't know what to do with it. And because of that, it leads to accumulation of fat, high insulin levels, because these, when you consume these foods, it makes you, they're digested very fast and released into the system, leading to very high insulin spikes, because the job of insulin is to take out this excess sugar from your bloodstream into the cells. But guess what? These cells too have a limit that they can take. And once they have reached that maximum, they are like, I can't take any more. And so this is now transferred, the excess fat, or is transferred to the liver for storage. Then it leads to the non-alcoholic fatty liver disease that we're seeing now. And because this food too is processed or is digested very fast, there is the tendency of you feeling hungry again and wanting to eat more of that, because these food sources have a very unique combination of sugar, of oils, of salt that make it very addictive. And you have the tendency of always wanting to have more of this. And the more you eat them, the more we become obese. So you see how all of these three things are interrelated, and all of them are pointing to one major culprit: ultra-processed foods and sugar. So during this juice detox program, we want to avoid having these processed foods, because we want to give our liver and all the detoxifying organs in our bodies a break, so they can take a break from struggling to detoxify our system from all these UPFs and have what they need that is not going to put any pressure on them, and that is fruits and vegetables. Another thing that we need to consider, thank you, Juice, great knowledge, I appreciate it, thank you for joining us. That's the goal here, to do the research and put it out there so people can get the most out of it. Thank you for joining us, I really appreciate your time. The next thing we are going to talk about is water. So we have talked about cutting out coffee, we've talked about cutting out alcohol, and in place of that, we can add water. And the juices are in liquid form. So and these fruits and vegetables have very high water content. So just having them, you are also having water into your system. And apart from that, you can have at least 8 glasses of water a day. And what I always propose is, once you have your juices, you do not drink it all in one gulp. You sip it gradually, so it is gradually assimilated into your system as well. And in between your taking your juices, because we say you can take it every hour, in between that you can have a cup of water, and this can go on for 8 hours, and in between that you have 8 glasses of water. So just like that, you find that you have already consumed 8 glasses of water. Hi Glad, thank you for joining. Gladys is in Minnesota. Thank you for joining us, and I appreciate your comments that you're enjoying the show. Thank you so much, and I hope you're going to engage in the juice detox. And a lot of people are joining now. I just put up a couple of questions at the start of the show. So at the end of this, I'm going to put out the grocery list so people can get their groceries and start the juice detox. So I was wondering if people think tomorrow is too soon. Maybe they will want to use tomorrow to get the groceries so we can start on Tuesday. So let me know in the chats if you think starting on Tuesday is a better idea or starting tomorrow. And then by the end of this, we can be able to make a determination about when to start the juice detox. So we have Monday or Tuesday. Let me know in the chat what your choice is. So yeah, we've talked about adding water, cutting out coffee, cutting out alcohol, and replacing that with water, and trying to ensure that you have about 8 cups of water a day. Thank you, Justine. Justine already says Tuesday. So we have Tuesday, one person for Tuesday. I'm actually taking tallies right now. And so let me know what your choice is. All right. The third thing we need to do, Marty, putting them now will be great so we can purchase them if possible. Oh, Matty, is very difficult for me to put it on now because I'm using my phone for this live chat. But I'm gonna put it up in my channel, and people can have access to it after this. But let me know whether you want to, you prefer to start on Monday or Tuesday, Matty. Let me know. Okay, Matty says, okay, great. And please let me know which one works for you, Monday or Tuesday. All right. So another major important reason why Christelle says, wow, Sister Christelle, thank you for joining. Wow, I really appreciate it. Christelle is in Germany. I'm really happy that she's able to join us today. Tuesday will be great so people can do groceries. Matilda wants Monday. Okay, so I'm taking the tallies. We already have 3 for Tuesday and 1 for Monday. So it's very clear here the majority is gonna win. So we have Tuesday that is leading so far. Let me know, everybody on the chat, let me know what your thoughts are. Okay, so we are saying another thing that we need to do is to eat foods that are rich in antioxidants, foods that have vitamin A, vitamin C, and vitamin E. And these antioxidant rich foods are naturally occurring foods that are found in the fruits and vegetables that we have to eat. And once we eat them, it helps to fight oxidative stress. So eating these foods that are high in antioxidants are very important because it helps to fight oxidative stress. And like I say, these foods are naturally occurring, and we can find them in something like green tea. Okay, this is another thing that this reminds me. At the end of each day, after you have dinner, always have some tea. Chamomile tea, green tea, whichever one works for you. And let us know which one you have engaged in as we put on the videos during the week so other people can benefit from your choices. All right, so those are the do's and don'ts that we need to engage in when we take on this juice cleanse. If you have any questions so far, please put it on the chat and I'm going to answer. The last part of this talk today, this live show, is about how to ease back into a regular diet. Yes, we have done our juice cleanse, and I'm saying that for people who are still starting, please take on the 3 days and do it as a feast. Don't be too hard on your body. Do it as a feast, like you have your juices and you can still have a salad of fruits and vegetables and then still have a regular dinner. So your body gets used to it. And when you do it for like 3 months, your body is already used to it, and then you can transition into a fast juice detox. All right. So now we have done our 3 days or the 5 days of the juice cleanse, and now we want to ease back into eating onto our regular routine. So what do we do? The first thing is you have to be gentle with your body. Your body has been having mostly juices for the past 3 to 5 days. So in order to ease back, we are going to advise you to start with soups. We are very used to having pepper soup. So have soups so that your body gradually gets used to having something solid. And then have more of the teas that we have, and still avoid the processed foods and the added sugars. You have to ease into them very, very slowly so that your body gets used to it. And then the second thing is to incorporate more fruits and vegetables. And that sounds really redundant because you have been having fruits and vegetables. Remember when I talked about your taste buds having a reboot when you do a juice cleanse? So when you do a juice cleanse, your taste buds are already so used to having fruits and vegetables, although in the form of juices, but they remember that taste. So another way to ease back is to have more of the fruits and vegetables in their natural form. And this is also very important because it gives high fiber sources that helps your digestive system. And when you are incorporating these fruits and vegetables, think about fruits that are easily digestible and that have a high water content, like bananas, watermelon, cantaloupe, and what have you. So when you want to eat fruits and vegetables after the cleanse, think about incorporating these fruits that have a high water content so that it doesn't put a strain on your digestive system. Also, it's important to add healthy fats into your system. Fats have been demonized for so long, but now recent research is showing that when you add healthy fats into your diet, it is very good because it helps to keep you satiated. And once it keeps you full for long periods of time, you are not in a situation where you want to eat or you want to snack. So in that situation, it keeps you satiated and it keeps you feeling full, and you don't have the tendency of wanting to snack in between meals. And just because of that, the amount of calories that you take in a day actually reduces, and then you find that over time you have natural weight loss. And what are some examples of some of these healthy fats you can add? We're talking about olives. We're talking about nuts like peanuts, cashews, almonds, avocados, tofu. All of these are healthy fat sources that you can add to your regimen. And when you are cooking, please cut out the saturated fats like canola oil. All these seed oils are not good for you. I know that most of our African food, like you're cooking dole, how much olive oil are you going to add to it? So there's some times that we can make concessions, but make sure that you are adding more of these healthy oils into your system, into your cooking routine. Like add olive oil, add avocado oil, and use those seed oils only when it's absolutely impossible to use like olive oil. We know it's very expensive, and but that's why we have to incorporate more of it. For instance, instead of having a salad and using salad dressing, you can just take olive oil, add lemon to it and some black pepper, and use it as your salad dressing, and you'll gain more benefits out of that. Alrighty. We've already talked about the importance. We cannot overstress the importance of drinking water, because water helps in the digestive process. When you drink water, it goes to also give your cells the opportunity to maintain their shape, because it takes water to maintain their shape. And when we drink water and water is being eliminated through the system, that is also a process of detoxifying. So the more water we drink, the more cleansing that happens, in addition to having the juices. Finally, your system has been doing a very wonderful job by cleansing itself. So be gentle with your system and ease back very gradually into your normal routine of having maybe a glass of wine a day or a cup of coffee, if that's what you cut out of your program during this juice cleanse. So that is what I had prepared for you today. I'm looking at the chat box. Tuesday already has 3 and Monday has 1. So at this point in time, Tuesday is taking a lead. Let me know if you have any other questions. We have 5 minutes to go, and if we have any questions, we can have some interactions while waiting. Thank you, Mati. I appreciate the fact that you joined us and that you are benefiting a lot from what we talked about today. Let me know if we have any questions. So while we're waiting for the audience to come up with any questions, Jules says, thanks so much, Auntie Z. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much, Auntie Jules, for joining us. And I'm happy that you are gaining a lot from this live show, and also fired up and ready to participate in the juice cleanse. Aging Happily with Hilda says, great show. Thank you, sis. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for all your kind words. And Aging Happily too with Hilda. She has a YouTube channel as well. She's a content producer, and she is very passionate about supporting our seniors and giving strategies on how we can better support our seniors. Sister Christelle is asking about taking coffee after dinner. So, and that really depends on the individual. For some people, if they take coffee after dinner, it keeps them awake and they can't fall asleep, because coffee actually interferes with the production of melatonin, whose job is to make you to fall asleep and to stay asleep. So if you have coffee and you are that kind of a person that is reactive to coffee, it's going to keep you awake. And because of that, I would advise that if you are someone who doesn't sleep at night after taking coffee, please avoid it after dinner. You can have coffee, but have it before like 2 p.m. so that it doesn't affect you. It doesn't stop you from falling asleep and staying asleep. But if you're someone who coffee doesn't have any influence on your sleep, there are people like that, then go for it. Also, you can have green tea. It still has some caffeine, but it's not as high as regular coffee. So it's really dependent on the individual. If you respond well to coffee, then have it. If you don't, avoid it. Juice says, count on me, I will participate. Awesome, girl, let's go, let's do this. Glasses, will you be adding coconut water on the list? So most of my recipes do not have anything processed, but like I say, I'm not all knowing. We have to try things and then see how it responds. So if you come across a recipe and you can get natural coconut and get the water out of it to add to your juice, let us know how that goes, and we can continue to incorporate it. What I want to discourage is to have processed coconut water, because we are discouraging the consumption of ultra processed foods during the juice cleanse. I hope that answers your question, Gla. Thank you so much. Glass says it does. It answers a question. So it's up to you. Give it a shot, and please, as we put up the videos, if you use any ingredient aside from what I have used, apart from what I'll be putting up, let us know, and let us know how it goes. I know that a lot of my audience are in different parts of the world, and some of the foods that we have here in North America may not be available in Cameroon, for instance, or in India, for instance, or South America. So if you use something else, let us know so we can incorporate that into the menu and see how it works out for everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you. I appreciate your time. And when we started, I was giving a shout out to all my subscribers. The last week, we hit a major milestone of having 1,000 subscribers. And it's really heartwarming. And to me, it's not about the number, but about the impact we are creating. How many lives we are touching because of this message we are putting out. Imagine how many people who will make a turnaround because of what they hear from watching these videos. So I really appreciate all your efforts. Please continue to like the videos, continue to share with your friends and family so that we create a ripple effect. And tomorrow we have a big community, and the healthier the world is, the more happy the world will be, and that is our goal. So I'll be rounding up here. Any more questions? We have like a minute to round up. This has been going for 1 hour, and I really appreciate your time. I appreciate you for taking off time. Sundays are usually time to spend with family and to get ready for the upcoming week. So for you to commit this time to spend with us and for me to take this information home is very heartwarming. I really appreciate it, and I hope this has been very beneficial to you. Thank you. Justine says thank you. Thank you too, my dear. Thanks for joining. Aging happily with Hilda, very, very beneficial. I appreciate it, my dear. Thank you, Hilda. Thank you, Mati. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Says Aging happily with Hilda. We are going to continue with this. So just before we round up, thank you, Sister Christelle, saying it has been awesome. Much appreciated. Just before we round up, only 4 people indicated their interest on when to start with the juice cleanse. And so Tuesday takes the lead. And what you will see is every evening prior to the day, I'm going to put up the video so you can have time to make the juices, whether you choose to make it the day before or early in the morning. But I will make sure that the videos are made available to you the previous day. So watch out, look out for Tuesday's video tomorrow evening. But after this, I'm going to make sure that you have the grocery list, and so that you can purchase your items tomorrow, and then we start on Tuesday. Thank you very much for your time. We are going to be ending this live show. I appreciate your time, and I look forward to having an awesome spring cleanse and having enormous benefits from the juice cleanse. Thank you very much. Bye. Yes, La, you're in for the juice. Sure. Let's do this. Thank you. Bye, everyone.